Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Farhan, also known as Gunner since 96, and you are watching my match day preview. It's obviously not match day, but seeing as tomorrow we have an early kickoff at 12:30, I thought I'd do it today so you get all the lowdown of how I feel we'll perform tomorrow, including what I'm going to be giving my predicted starting 11. I'm going to be talking about Arteta's press conference briefly, picking out a few key things to talk about, and I'm going to be talking about Leicester as well, some of the problems that they have at the minute, and do Arsenal have enough to beat them? Obviously, after tomorrow, we will have a lengthy break, a nice week to relax and to refresh ourselves for Burnley then, I think. And so just before I start, if you are the type of person who is looking for more Arsenal content, do consider subscribing, because I release a piece of content every single day where I talk about a range of different things Arsenal related, whether it's giving my reaction to Mikel Arteta's press conference or giving my reaction to the match day, to the post-match, giving my post-match reaction, as I should say, to the results that come after the games. There is a whole load of things on this channel, so do consider subscribing. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to start off by talking about Arteta's press conference and some of the key things that he had to say about the players, about his team, the mentality. Often we have a phrase that is often linked with Arsenal throughout the last decade is mentality, and the boys certainly showed it against Benfica. And so on a question about whether his team are proving that they can handle pressure, he said, "They gave absolutely everything with the amount of games we have had to play, with the intensity that we are playing, how much we tried. I'm really thankful for that. I think it's going to be an important moment in the competition to learn how to overcome difficulty and still achieve what we want." There was a moment, I think, at the end of the first half where I tweeted out, we're gonna really find out whether these boys have the cojones to see this game through. It didn't start off very well, I have to say, but my oh my, did they show the character to see it through. I mean, there's a part of me that's really proud of what they achieved, because for a team who have had such a weird season, such an up-down season, not getting, a full run of games where they have showed what they're capable of, always getting to level 5, attempting to get to level 6 and then coming back down again. I'm proud of what they showed against Benfica. But I'm also very worried, because if there's one thing I learned from that game, is that Arsenal Football Club are not ready to compete for a European trophy. Unless they get very lucky. And, I say that with, at the back of my head, knowing that this Arsenal side are also capable of playing up against anyone and putting up a good fight. Whether they have it in them, the right attitude, the right mentality, whether they're able to handle the pressure, I'm yet to actually see. Arteta seems to think that the boys are maturing and growing in their mindset and their mentality. I tend to agree with that. I really do. I think the more they get themselves in this type of situation, the more they'll learn about themselves, the more they'll adapt, the more they'll grow, the more they'll morph into the side that we want to see them, that we want to see of them. In terms of Saka, the kid who's been carrying this whole squad on his shoulders, Arteta said that he's really fatigued. He's played a lot of minutes. He hasn't had much rest. We asked him to go again and produce these moments, and the boys done it. The big question is he going to be featuring against Leicester? He has played, I think I heard Charles Watt say in his video that he's played more minutes than anyone else aside from Leno this season or this year. I can't quite remember. But he has produced game after game after game, and he has been the standout guy to look for. So there's no surprise to hear that he's had more minutes under his belt than anyone else. But what do you do against Leicester? Now, this is a really weird sort of game to go into on the back of a really amazing and fantastic Europa League win that sees us still in the competition, that gives us hope to keep going. Do we risk playing fatigued BUKAYO Saka, risking injury and then seeing him off for the long run? or do we rest him? And it's good to know that Arteta at least realizes he is fatigued and he does need a rest. So I'm hoping that that will be the case. And finally, Arteta made comments on Ceballos' performance, on the mistakes. I'm going to give my thoughts on it straight after I tell you guys what he said. So on Ceballos, Arteta said, "I'm especially happy for Danny because he's a player that lives this profession like it's the most important thing in his life. And when he made that mistake, if that would have cost the team to be out of the competition, it would have been mentally really tough." So that's when you need players in the team like we have, like with Oba, with BUKAYO, creating the situations, with KT scoring the goal to save him. Out of a difficult situation, created a really bright moment. And I said, I said that during the game as well. I tweeted it and I said it in my post-match reaction. Conceding 2 goals to Benfica was probably the best thing for us because it saw us come out of our shell. And in terms of Ceballos, having made those 2 mistakes, it is going to have a massive detrimental toll on his confidence and on his ability to perform on the pitch had we had lost that game. Having said that, since Ceballos has played in the last few games, he's really impressed me, and he strikes me to be that a type of player who we don't see often in the heart of our midfield. He's the type of player who is really high on energy, the confidence to take players on, the technical ability to ping out different passes, long range, short, direct. I really like Dani Ceballos as a player. I think he adds a lot of different dynamics, a different style of football in that center of the midfield. When you're thinking about Arsenal's traditional midfield, central midfield partnerships, you're thinking about players that are gonna pass it sideways, pass it backwards, maybe take the safe option. But with this guy, it seems as if he wants to do that little bit more, that little bit extra. He seems to have settled. I do still rate him. I do still think he's a good player. He just had a really horrible night, but one that saw us win the game. So it's sort of almost like a win-win situation. So that's Arteta's press conference. Those are the quotes that I wanted to bring out and talk about because I think that's quite important. In terms of our starting 11, I'm going to give my predicted starting lineup. Actually, before I do that, let me talk through Leicester. So the last game they played in the Premier League, they played against Aston Villa and they won 2-1. They play a similar formation, 4-2-3-1. They have a very, very strong side. Having said that, they have a lot of injury problems at the minute. So when we're talking about Leicester, we're talking about the likes of Jamie Vardy, Maddison, Barnes, Pereira, Ndidi, Tielemans, Evans, Soyuncu, Schmeichel. On the bench, Albrighton, Iheanacho, Unda, Chowdhury, Mendy. This is a very, very strong side. I mean, if you're comparing both teams, I'd probably have to say that Leicester might nick it when you're when you're trying to figure out who's the better side. There's just so much quality in that side. There's so much quality and there's so much attacking threat. There's so much. I mean, they've managed to morph themselves into like compared to where they were when they first came into the league to what they are now. Some really top-notch elite players. Tielemans, for me, is a wonderful central midfielder. One of the best in his position in Europe. Ndidi, fantastic. Maddison, showing week in, week out why he needs to be regarded as one of the best attacking midfielders in the Premier League. Barnes is beginning to show his ability. But having said that, look, they've got their problems. They've got some injuries that we need to mention. They will be without Maddison. They will be without Ayoze Perez. Wesley Fofana, who started really, really well, came into Leicester, left. I forget Saint Etienne. Left Saint Etienne with Saliba, and he has shown the talent and the ability to handle Premier League pressure. He's overachieved, I would say, and he's become a regular for them. Then there'll also be a revival Dennis Pryor and Wes Morgan. James Justin, on the other hand, is also out and is working towards a long-term rehabilitation plan. So they've got issues, and I think right now they are there for the taking, and we need to go into this game with the mindset of winning this game. I don't know what sort of mindset that I'm going into this game with, because normally I would really look forward to Premier League games and go into it with the mindset of winning the game, getting the 3 points. I don't know how I feel about. Yeah, I'm not really sure how I'm approaching this game. Would I be really upset if we lost the game? Yes, I would, because I don't want to see Arsenal lose. But am I as psyched up about winning this game as I would be? No. And I don't know whether it's because all of the emotion has been sucked out of me from that Benfica game, or whether it's because I'm just really looking forward to the Olympiacos game. Regardless, they've got problems. We need to go and exploit that. And that brings me on to my starting 11. Who do I think will play? Who do I think will start? I think there will be a number of different changes. I think Arteta has to rotate. I don't think it's worth taking the risk of playing players on that look fatigued, that have been travelling, that have been playing week in, week out, that haven't been able to rest and recover properly. So having said that, in goal, I'm going to start with Leno. On the right, I'm going to bench Bellerin, and hopefully Arteta does the same and play Cedric. I think Cedric is a fantastic, or he has shown the ability to be a fantastic defender, a defensive right back. He adds to quality. He adds quality to the attacking side as well, going forward, linking up play with others in midfield. Alongside him, I would like to see Pablo Mari and Holding play together. I think give Gabriel and Luiz a rest. I think especially Gabriel, I think he's still missing something. He's missing an element in his game where he's not being able to fully show the things that he showed at the beginning of the season. You know, there's something, I don't know. He seems shaky. He seems a little bit nervous. He's not quite as sharp as he was. So I'll play Holding alongside of Mari. On the left, Tierney has to continue because I don't see anyone else playing there. But seeing as he's just come back from injury as well, the more minutes he plays, the better. So that's my back four. In midfield, this is an interesting one. Do I play Partey, or do I not risk Partey and maybe use him as someone to bring him on? No, I think if Leicester are there for the taking, I start Partey alongside potentially Ceballos. And I say that because I know Xhaka's played a high number of minutes. I think it's time that he gets a rest. I think it's time that he is able to get a proper breather. So I would rest Xhaka and I would potentially play Ceballos alongside with Partey. I can't remember seeing them play together. And I haven't forgot about El Neni. I just think in a game like this, you need your midfielders to be thinking about moving the ball forward and not backwards. And that's why I want to play Ceballos with Partey. In terms of my front three that are going to be playing behind the striker, in the number 10 role, I really, really want to see Emil Smith-Rowe back there in that number 10 role. However, I don't think I'll see that. I think if Arteta is going to go into this game with the mindset of resting as many players as possible, he might play Willian in that number 10 role, or he might continue to play Odegaard and get him up to scratch and get him to his best, because I still don't think that we've seen the best of this boy, this kid. And so it's either, I mean, it could be either three. If it's me, I'm going for Emil Smith-Rowe because I want to win this game. And I'm not saying that playing Odegaard there won't win us this game. I just think playing Odegaard there, he adds something a little bit different to what Emil Smith-Rowe does. And Emil Smith-Rowe adds something more reliable in our attacking game. Whereas there's a bit more stability when you play Odegaard there. He's able to control and maintain control of that final third midfield position. Okay, I'm going to go for Emil Smith-Rowe in that number 10 role. On the left, I really, 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 really want to see Pepe start. And on the right, I really want to see Martinelli start. I think it's time that you give Martinelli his minutes. I think he's deserved. He's waited long enough, and he needs as many minutes as possible to get back to his best, especially having come back from injury. We haven't seen much of him, but it's an injury that took him out for a very long time, and so there is no rush. There is no rush having someone come back into the starting 11, especially after having been out for so long. You don't want anything to happen to his confidence. You don't want anything to happen to his ability to keep developing. That's the word I was thinking of. But having said that, I think again, look, it's a perfect opportunity to exploit the problems that Leicester have. So I would like to see Pepe on the right, on the left. I would like to see Gabby on the right, and I would like to see Lacazette play up front. And I would like to see Aubameyang, Odegaard, maybe less Odegaard, but certainly Aubameyang and Saka need to be rested because they have been stretched as much as possible. And that's my starting 11. And I think if we're going into this game, we need to go into this game with an attack-minded sort of game plan. We need to take Leicester out of the game early on. I think it will be a repeat of what happened at the Emirates, where Leicester will sit back, they will defend in numbers, they will try to frustrate us, and then in the final 10-20 minutes, they will go at it and they will nick a goal as they always do. They've been somewhat of a bogey team for us. I just hope that the boys go out there with the confidence after winning in Greece in the manner in which they did, and hopefully we get 3 points. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and hit that bell notification to be notified every time I release a video. I'll be back again tomorrow for a post-match reaction where hopefully Arsenal get the 3 points. But until then, stay home, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.